Who's everyone, or you're still awake? I'm gonna do a small exercise for you. It's Hans. I'm gonna present myself soon. I just start to talk and see if people come in from the sides. So this is not what I'm gonna talk about. It's more about a shared understanding. Small thing about me first. Well, don't ask questions. I can't answer them. And it's because I don't hear. I have a hearing aid, and I have a lot of stuff here. Glasses, hearing aid, and a microphone on my ear, so I think they are standing right out now. But I guess questions afterwards. I'm the last speaker, so afterwards we can talk a lot. I have a present for you. This is the shortest book ever on something agile, I think, lean startup. When you leave here on the table, there's a copy for you each. Half of them in Swedish and half in English. I didn't know which one I should bring. And it's 100% free today. I need 20 volunteers. And good. I have 4 sets of plastic here, and you're gonna draw a drawing for me. So I want 5 people on each. And if you don't know if you're volunteering, if you're close to them, you're volunteering. So please get 20 people up here. And the rest of you, can stand around here. So feel free to get up and... Here's a... Don't open the paper yet, the instructions. And you're gonna get... So, there's pens and instructions. We have 5 here, we have 4 here, 1 more here, please, someone. And 3 more there, and 3 more here. Go. Get here. And the rest of you, you can stand around or on the chairs to view what they're just going to paint for 1 minute, so it's not going to be that hard. So we have 5 people there, 5 painters. Great. So here's the thing. You have different colors, and you have instruction each, and you will get 1 minute to draw, and it's a competition. We're all going to vote later on which one is best. Draw according to the instructions. Are you ready? Go. Sorry? We'll see. Glory. So that's 15 seconds. Half time, half a minute, 30 seconds left. $20, $15, $10, $5, $4, $3, $2, $1. Drop your pen. Stop. A big round of applause. So, what we need now is to put them up on a wall here. I think we'll take this one. Please help me, someone on that end. Could you? And we all put them up here, so we all can see them. Right. And please come here forward, everyone, so you can watch those beautiful drawings. Det brukar inte behövas. It's on there. All right. So leave room so everyone can see this. We're going to have a voting session here. Maybe if I... That didn't help. No, that didn't help. Can everyone see this? All right, all right. So, let's see how we do this voting. So they all got the instructions to draw a beautiful summer meadow, sommaräng in Swedish. And all of you, pick one of your favorite. Which one is your favorite summer? And when I ask you if you vote on that, you just raise your hand, and I'm going to do a quick count. So let's start with this one. How many has this as their favorite? So what do you say, 10%? 10-ish percent? How many pick this one? Sorry? Oh, was it that one we did? All right, right, right. I'm just checking if you're still awake. So this one then. How many votes on this one? 2 people. I say close to 0. Well, maybe 2 people. That's 2%, right? 2%. This one. 50, 55, something like that. Could it 50-ish, we're going to see. And this one, slightly less, I would say, around 30. Is it do you agree with me? Something like that? So we have a winner. Which team is that? With the flying cow. That's the team, right. All right. All right, good. Now we're going to do something. Here is I cheated. They didn't get the same instructions. So I cheated a bit. So could you please put your instructions close to your, and we have a Kludisar here. And for those of you that have hard times to see it, I've done this before, and it usually looks something like this. Here's Kludis. So, no Van Goghs here. How do you Kludis? So, do like this. All of you, watch this, or you have a similar, if you can watch here or here. Talk to your neighbor for 2 minutes. What your conclusions are. 2 minutes, talk to your neighbors. What you usually say is that this kind of instruction is an open instruction. It's one that it doesn't give you the details, but more draw a beautiful summer meadow and let the team's knowledge fill in the thing. It's an open in that sense that we don't dictate exactly. And this one is more detailed, and because sometimes it comes from I don't trust the team enough. I think I need to fill in everything. If I'm the product owner here, I've written both, right? This is I trust the team to have some knowledge, fill in the blanks, help me do this. This is more I know what a beautiful summer meadow is, and just execute it for me, please. Right? But at the same time, I've worked with development teams that people saying after a demo or something, or it didn't turn out quite well, and people say, well, you need to give us more specification, more detailed instructions. That's why it failed. And I don't really buy that. I don't believe that. But here's the thing. Take 15 seconds and think about, when is this a better instruction than that? Because there are situations. But when? Take 15 seconds and just think about that. So here's my take on it. This is a shitty process anyway, right? I hand over an instruction, I leave, and then just draw this, and then we look at the results, and then everyone voted, right? Shitty process. In real life, we wouldn't work that out. We would work with feedback. Probably, you draw a few lines. You come to me if I'm the product owner and say, "Am I on the right track? Am I doing that?" But we didn't have feedback in this. It was just instructions, right? So here's my answer to that question: is that first we have an idea, draw a beautiful summer meadow, kind of visionary, and then we have a conversation. What do you mean by that? Well, I mean like my youth, when I was a child and I could smell the flowers and the midsummer pole dancing. Oh, it's not in the instruction. Well, we had that. And then after conversation, we end up with some kind of confirmation. And this could be a great confirmation. Right? This is perfect. We can follow that. But what we did here, we removed that part and just did two different styles. So this one, without the conversation, usually fails. And I don't know how you do it usually, but sometimes we have meetings and stuff, and then afterwards someone writes down, "This is what we agreed on this meeting," and then send it out. That's that kind of thing, right? But before meeting is, we should talk about this. So it has its place, both of these, open and closed conversation forum. So it's a conversation I'm going to talk a little bit about. 3 C's, card, conversation, confirmation, has been around since at least the 90s. If this is a user story, I guess you heard of user stories, I treat them as a placeholder for communication. Placeholder for communication. And it doesn't mean anything if you haven't been part of the conversation. It's like vacation photos. This is a vacation photos for me and my colleague. We're in Chicago in summer 2013. How many of you love to watch other people's vacation photos? Raise your hand. 1, 2. All right. There are some odd people around here. So. No, and I like them maybe 1, 2, maybe 3. But after the 10th photo of 2 kids playing in the sand or 2 naked feet with a drink, and it's the same kind of feet. Well, okay, it's more brownish on this one than the first, and it's another drink. But for me, this photo means so much else because I was there. It meant that, him and me, we went to the US, and we were stopping in Chicago for 6 hours, and he said, "Let's take a cab. We can't just sit here in the airport. Let's do something in Chicago." So we asked the cab driver, "Where should we go?" "Well, yeah, you should go to this place in Chicago. There's a very shiny thing, and it's actually that one we're taking the photo in." So we're standing there taking a picture, and then he says, Reza, he says, "Do you want to eat the best hamburger you ever had?" And I said, "Sure." Then we're going to go to Five Guys. So we jump in a cab, we drive 25 minutes straight ahead, and I eat the best hamburger I ever had. And I assure you, this is the best one with A1 sauce. It's marvelous. And then I asked him, "Do you want to get to know some locals?" And he said, "Sure." "Do you know anyone here?" "No. But we can do my trick. We just go straight in that direction until we find a bar, and then we talk with some people in the bar. Should we do that?" Yeah, and we did that, and we drank these beers. And afterwards, when I see this photo, I think of all this. But for you guys, it's just 2 people taking a photo. So that's a little bit about user stories. You need to be a part of the conversation, otherwise they're pretty useless. I often feel like this when I have an email conversation with my colleagues. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But even worse, sometimes I think the conversation goes like that, but it's more often that we think we agree, but we have totally different mental models of what we have agreed on. Probably. So we think we agree, but we don't even realize we talk about different things. And then we meet, and suddenly at a conference is people start to draw things on a board and say, this is what we agreed on. And people said, no. Yeah, well, it was. And uh-oh, you meant that. But I meant that. My company, CRISP, we meet every second year for a big conference like this. And we discuss and we measure our how well we are all feeling, and we always feel very bad before we have these conferences, and then it goes up, and then it turns bad. So it's like email going down, and then meeting going up, and it's a little bit like this. And then after we would do this, we merge our understanding. Oh, you meant that, and after a while, we actually agree on stuff, and then we end up here. And this is what I mean by shared understanding, that after conversation, after merging all our different ideas, we can come up with the same kind of mental picture of what we have. Just a small photo here. Anyone heard of this, Atlassian? Yeah. They do a tool that's Jira. That is sometimes when I coach teams, that we have the Jira here. You just write in the stuff there, and then we just build it. Like this kind of instructions. This is actually the Jira team planning session. Look, no computers here. There's a reason for this, because they realize that if we use our tool for planning, we're not going to build a good tool. So, this morning, some of you went to a workshop with Mob Programmer, right? So I thought I'd squeeze in that in this speech. Evolution of programming. When I started in the 80s, programming was pretty much like this. Some poor, lonely person with a computer, not very social one. I was sitting there and I learned Pascal, and it was great. And then I bumped into something called pair programming. And it started to become social. But it's also started to become some kind of shared understanding of how we should build things and what we should build. And then the logical endpoint is, of course, mob programming. That's shared understanding on a whole different new level. So try that. It's really cool. So that's shared understanding. When you have a speed of development, what is that? Well, how long does it take for an idea to go through your organization? That's basically this kind of how you can measure the speed. You can follow an idea and go through there. How long does it take for an idea to spread through your organization? Take 15 seconds and think about from your idea until you have deployed it somewhere. So let's see. How many do that in less than a week? A few of them. Less than a month. Less than a quarter, less than a year, more than a year. All right, yeah, so that's really interesting. So, what's a whispering game? Have you played that? I'm not going to do that with you. I was thinking about doing that, but yeah, well, whatever. What's the opposite of the whispering game? The whispering game is someone says something to someone that says something. It's very, looks something like a waterfall method, right? The whispering game and waterfall method is pretty much the same. A shared conversation, right? So, and competence teams. What is the opposite of competence teams? Wonderful. I call it cross-competence team. If I call it feature teams and stuff like that, or incompetence team, I guess people think differently. But that's usually what we mean with the feature teams or cross-functional teams. So that's the opposite. Okay. What's the opposite of co-located team? Distributed. And I invented a new word this morning, actually. Dislocated team. I don't know. I don't know if you can say that, but it sounds like something falls off, right? So there's no silver bullet when it comes to shared understanding or anything, right? You've all read that or heard of it, no silver bullet thing. But here's one of the conclusions. Sit together is very close to one. when I come up companies that have problems with the process, usually it's about we're not sitting together or working together. And if you do that, you don't need much process. Put in a bunch of people in a room, give them a direction, and say, do cool stuff, and it's gonna and deliver every second week or something. You're gonna have something, but then you move people around, move them elsewhere, and then you need process. So this is a very cheap one. How much time do I have here? I have 5 minutes, or something like that. All right. I will show you a very small film, but I'm going to jump right into it. It's about a team that actually jumps instead of sitting at the office. They have moved to sit in a shop. So they're sitting here, and we don't need to turn on the sound. Actually, I can just talk about it. They move in with the computers, some whiteboards, and they're sitting in a shop selling glasses. And what they're doing is developing the application and testing out on the next random buyer. And for me, this is a little bit, it's called a kind of lean UX style. And you get the URL, you can watch the whole video later, but I'm going to save some time here. But it ends up, after a week, they deliver an iPad app that can take photos and different ways, and you can, in just a week. If they would have sitting in their office, I guess it would have taken longer at least. So lean user experience is a little bit about getting the cross-functional team out of the building together with customers. So, I'll jump this. So evolution of product ownership, if I look at that, the typical product owner is, well, we have a development team, we have a product owner, Scrum product owner, and we have users and customers called stakeholders over here, and they're basically a filter and filtering the conversation or doing the whispering game, right? Some people develop this and say, okay, we take one of these into the sprint planning, try to avoid this, and when we teach Scrum, we're saying, please have direct conversation sometimes. Don't be a whispering game or a telephone game person, right? And then it evolves a bit. So the latest Scrum guide saying that product owner is a part of the team, so it enhances at least this conversation, but it's still a gap here. Okay. One of my favorite methods is extreme programming, and they actually had another name for this. It's called customer on site, and the meaning was you take your team, you put it at your customer's place, and you sit together. Then you get a better understanding. So that's a customer side. This is where I've jumped in the customer. We remove the product owner and put in the customer in the building instead. And the next thing is get out of the building. That is lean UX. Is the team goes and see the users and trying all of them. And I had just the other week, I had a team that was made of a UX designer, a graphical designer, and a back-end developer. And they went out in Centralen in Stockholm and met real users with a prototype that they have spent 15 minutes in building. And they showed things, and I'm not allowed to say what they were doing, but afterwards, the back-end developers said, like, wow, I've been a back-end developer for 15 years, and this is the first week I didn't code anything. And I had so much interesting thoughts, and I learned so much about the user. So what did they think about your prototype? Oh, it didn't matter. I met the user and started to know for whom we were building stuff. That was really great. So I see a change in PO role. I see instead of prioritizing stories, we prioritize conversations. Because if the story is just a placeholder for communication, the prioritization is a conversation priority. I see collect stakeholder needs. I see it's a transformation to prioritize conversations. Bring a stakeholder into the team when it's a good timing. Have the conversation. And I see also maybe bring in all the stakeholders in a room with a team and have a workshop, so we all can understand what their needs and benefits and the things we're going to produce. I see, instead of a product owner thinking and come up with the ideas, they organize workshops. They might have great ideas because people have that, but the wisdom of the crowd, 5, 6 people are usually much smarter than the lone person. And if the lone person is part of that, and I see product owners say, I should design on a vision, and I see more and more product owners go in and organize vision workshops together with the team, so we are all on the same track in the same direction. So to sum it up a bit, shared understanding for me is do things together. That's about it. Thank you.